ever feel like life just keeps throwing curveballs? Like, you're constantly juggling, and sometimes you just want to drop everything and hide.
Oh, absolutely.
You are definitely not alone.
Yeah.
In a world that often feels like it's moving at warp speed, stress isn't just an inconvenience. It's kind of a silent epidemic affecting millions.
It really is. We're talking huge numbers, like 3/4 of adults regularly feeling physical and psychological symptoms from stress. It's everywhere.
Yeah, it's pervasive.
And this deep dive is about something really powerful. Understanding what stress and emotions actually do to us, and maybe more importantly, how to build healthy, effective ways to manage them. Our mission today, really, is for you to leave with a kind of toolkit, a roadmap to better well-being, helping you not just survive the chaos, but actually thrive in it.
Okay, so let's get straight into it then. We're going to explore why we sort of instinctively develop these coping mechanisms, figure out the helpful versus the harmful ones, and then really dive into some practical, evidence-based strategies we'll cover, like physical habits, mindful practices, even how our thoughts play a role. This isn't just theory, right? It's about tools for real life.
Exactly. Let's start with the basics. What actually happens in our bodies when stress hits? You know that fight or flight feeling?
Oh yeah, that jolt.
That's your ancient alarm system kicking in. When we sense a threat, any threat, our bodies automatically pump out hormones like cortisol and adrenaline. Super useful if you need to, run from a tiger.
Which doesn't happen much these days, thankfully.
Not usually, no. But the problem is, in our modern lives, that alarm often stays switched on for things like a tough deadline or an argument.
And that's where the trouble starts, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because that constant on state, that chronic stress, leads to serious long-term issues.
Huge issues.
We're talking increased blood pressure, a weaker immune system, sleep problems, mood issues, even problems with thinking clearly. When that alarm's always ringing, your body just pays the price.
It really does. And to try and handle that feeling, we naturally develop coping mechanisms. These are strategies, sometimes we're aware of them, sometimes not, to deal with those tough emotions.
Right, to kind of manage the pressure.
Exactly. Their job is to reduce that internal stress, help us regulate intense feelings, and basically improve our overall health, mental and physical. But, and this is key, not all coping strategies are actually helpful.
Okay, so how do we tell the difference? I've heard terms like active versus avoidant coping.
Yes, that's a really critical distinction.
Should you break that down? Like, when should we be more proactive and when are we just maybe dodging the issue?
Okay, think of it like this. Active coping is when you recognize what's causing the stress and then you consciously do something about it. You either try to change the situation itself or you change how you're responding to it. You face it.
So you're engaging with the problem.
Right. Avoidant coping, on the other hand, is basically ignoring the problem. Pushing it away, pretending it's not there. It might feel better for a short time, like, phew, relief.
A temporary escape.
Exactly. But the underlying issue doesn't go away. It often just gets bigger while you're not looking.
Okay, so active coping means taking charge. Now, I've also heard defense mechanisms. Are they the same thing?
That's a really good question. People sometimes use the terms interchangeably, but there's a subtle difference. Coping mechanisms are generally intentional skills, things we choose to do.
Okay.
Defense mechanisms, they're often more automatic, subconscious, ways our mind protects itself from anxiety without us really thinking about it, like maybe rationalizing a mistake instead of just owning it. Less conscious choice, more gut reaction.
Got it. Intentional skill versus automatic reaction.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Okay, let's dig into the healthy versus unhealthy coping styles, because I think this is where a lot of us can get stuck, right? It's so easy to slip into habits that feel good now but end up hurting us later.
Absolutely. It's incredibly common. These unhealthy or maladaptive coping mechanisms often give you that immediate temporary fix, but they almost always lead to bigger problems down the road.
Like what? What are some common examples?
Well, a big one is excessive alcohol or drug use. Millions might say they use substances for stress relief, but it often just makes things worse or creates entirely new problems.
Right. Or maybe things that seem less obvious. What's something people think is helping, but it's actually a trap?
Oh, a classic is emotional eating. Trying to sort of stuff down your feelings with food. It gives temporary comfort, sure, but it can lead to a really unhealthy relationship with food, plus other health issues. Another huge one now is excessive screen time. Just mindlessly scrolling, binge watching shows, for hours.
Guilty.
We all do it sometimes. But while it feels like an escape, it just delays dealing with the actual stressor. You come out of that binge watch and the problem's still there, and maybe you feel even more drained or guilty.
Yeah, the problem didn't magically disappear while I watched 3 seasons of that show.
Exactly. And things like retail therapy, buying stuff to feel better, that can backfire big time with financial stress later on, or even just venting endlessly without actually looking for solutions that can keep you stuck in the negativity.
Okay, so those are the pitfalls. What's the alternative? What do these healthy, adaptive coping mechanisms actually look like? How do they feel different?
Healthy or adaptive coping mechanisms are the ones that truly empower you. They either help you actively change the stressful situation itself, or they help you adjust your emotional response to it in a positive way. They build genuine resilience and lead to long-term well-being, not just temporary relief.
Okay, empowerment, resilience. That sounds good.
And within healthy coping, there's another useful distinction: problem-focused versus emotion-focused strategies.
Okay, tell me more. What's the difference, and how do we know which one to use?
So problem-focused coping is all about trying to change or eliminate the source of the stress. It's best when you actually have some control over the situation.
Like what? Give me an example.
Okay, say you're constantly fighting with your partner. A problem-focused approach might be suggesting couples counseling, or setting clear boundaries about communication, or maybe even deciding the relationship isn't working. You're tackling the source of the fights.
Right. Addressing the root cause.
Or if giving presentations at work causes massive stress. Problem focus could be practicing more, hiring a coach, taking a public speaking course, or even looking for a job with different responsibilities. You're directly addressing the thing causing the stress.
Okay, so changing the external situation. What about emotion-focused then?
Emotion-focused coping is what you use when the source of stress is pretty much out of your control, or maybe you don't want to change it right now. The goal here is to manage your feelings about the situation, your internal response.
Okay. So when you can't change the situation, you change your reaction.
Exactly. For instance, imagine a loved one gets diagnosed with a serious illness. You can't change the diagnosis, right?
Right.
But you can use emotion-focused coping. Maybe join a support group for caregivers, journal about your fears and sadness, practice meditation to manage anxiety. You're working on your internal state.
Okay. Or like feeling anxious at a party.
Perfect example. You might not be able to leave immediately. So emotion-focused. Practice deep breathing exercises. Maybe stick close to a friend you came with. Plan a few conversation starters beforehand. You're managing the feeling of anxiety in that moment. It's about knowing whether to tackle the problem directly or manage your internal reaction to it.
That's a really helpful distinction. Knowing which approach fits the situation. Okay, so we understand the types. Let's build that toolkit. What are some solid evidence-based strategies we can actually start using?
Right. This is where it gets practical. We can weave together several powerful strategies. The first one, and honestly, it might be the most fundamental, is to connect and cultivate social support.
Connection. Why is that so important for stress?
Because good relationships are absolutely vital for mental well-being. They give us a sense of belonging, boost our self-worth, and provide that crucial emotional support when things get tough. There's long-term research, like the Harvard Study of Adult Development, showing that the quality of our relationships is the single strongest predictor of happiness and health over our entire lives.
Wow, the strongest predictor. It's huge.
It really is. Strong social connections are like a lifeline.
So it's not just about having people around. How do we actively strengthen those connections?
It requires being intentional, like making time each day to be truly present with family, maybe setting a rule for no phones during dinner, scheduling regular catch-ups with friends.
Actually putting it on the calendar.
Yes, putting down your phone during conversations, maybe volunteering. The key is not just relying on social media or texts for connection. It means being a bit vulnerable, being authentic, and really listening when others talk. That active listening piece is huge. This builds what we call relationship management skills, real solid connections.
It's amazing how these simple things are so deeply connected. Okay, so connection is key. What else? We often think stress is all in the head, but our bodies play a huge role, right?
A massive role. Which brings us to number 2. Embrace physical activity and prioritize sleep. Let's talk activity first. Moving your body isn't just for physical health. It boosts self-esteem, helps you feel like you're achieving something, and literally causes positive chemical changes in your brain that improve your mood.
So it's not just about burning calories.
Not at all. One big analysis found that people who exercised regularly had something like 43% fewer days of poor mental health. And the amazing insight here isn't that you need to run a marathon. Even just 10-15 minutes of enjoyable movement, daily walking, dancing, whatever you like, can make a huge difference to your mental state.
10-15 minutes. That feels achievable.
Totally. Start small,
Yeah.
and then there's sleep.
Ah, yes, sleep. The thing I always mean to get more of.
We all struggle with it, but stress and sleep are so closely linked. If you don't sleep well, you become much more sensitive to stress the next day. Adults getting less than 7 hours are way more likely to report stress symptoms.
So it's a vicious cycle. Stress ruins sleep, bad sleep makes stress worse.
Exactly. So you have to prioritize it. Try for a consistent sleep schedule even on weekends. Make your bedroom cool, dark, and quiet. Wind down before bed limit screens. Maybe read a book. Avoid caffeine or alcohol close to bedtime. These seem like basic tips, but they have a profound impact on your stress resilience.
Okay, connection, movement, sleep.
Yeah.
What about keeping our minds engaged in positive ways?
Great point. That leads us to our third area. Learn new skills and engage in creative expression. Learning something new, anything new, is fantastic for your self-confidence and self-esteem. It gives you a sense of purpose.
Does it have to be something big, like getting a degree?
Not at all. It could be learning to cook a new recipe, taking on a small new responsibility at work, fixing something around the house, trying a language app, starting a blog, picking up painting. The key insight is that engaging your brain in a purposeful way, even on a small scale, shifts how you see yourself and your capabilities.
I like that, and the creative part. How does that help with stress?
Creative expression is a fantastic outlet for processing emotions. It can also get you into that flow state where you're totally absorbed in what you're doing and time just flies. That state is naturally stress-reducing.
Like getting lost in painting or playing music?
Exactly. Studies have shown that even just 45 minutes of creative activity can significantly lower cortisol, the stress hormone. It could be journaling, drawing, crafting, creative writing, dancing, whatever calls to you. The point isn't to be Picasso, it's just to allow yourself that outlet for expression.
That sounds really appealing. Okay, let's talk mindfulness. It's a term we hear everywhere. What is it really, and how does it actually help manage stress?
Right, mindfulness. At its core, it's about paying attention, on purpose, in the present moment. And this is crucial without judgment. It's a shift away from constantly doing, thinking, planning, worrying, towards simply being.
Okay, being present,
Yeah.
non-judgmental.
Yes. And it helps you appreciate life more, understand yourself better, and face challenges with a calmer perspective. The big insight with mindfulness is that by anchoring yourself to now, you create a bit of space between you and those overwhelming thoughts or feelings. You get perspective.
So it's not about emptying your mind, just noticing what's there. How do we start practicing this?
A great starting point is awareness of breath. You don't need to change how you breathe. Just gently notice the physical sensations. Maybe the air in your nostrils, your chest rising and falling. Your mind will wander. That's totally normal.
Mind wanders constantly.
Everyone's does. The practice is just gently, kindly bringing it back to the breath over and over, like training a puppy. Another really useful tool, especially when things feel hectic, is the 3-minute breathing space.
3 minutes. Tell me more.
It's a quick reset. Step 1. Briefly check in what thoughts, feelings, body sensations are here right now. Just notice, no judgment. Step 2. Gently focus your attention on the physical sensations of your breath, using it as an anchor. Step 3. Expand your awareness out to your whole body, maybe the space around you. It's a mini pause to step out of autopilot.
That sounds really doable, even in a busy day. What about dealing with those nagging negative thoughts that seem to fuel stress?
Yes. A huge part of mindfulness involves changing our relationship with thoughts. A key principle is thoughts are not facts.
Say that again. Thoughts are not facts.
Right. Our thoughts have a massive impact on how we feel, but they're just mental events. They're not necessarily objective reality. The practice is learning to observe your thoughts without automatically believing them, fighting them, or getting swept away by them.
How do you do that? How do you observe a thought without getting caught up in it?
You can ask yourself questions like, is this thought really 100% true? What's the evidence for and against it? Sometimes just labeling the thought helps create distance. Like if you notice harsh self-criticism, you might mentally say, there's the judging mind again. It acknowledges the thought without endorsing it. This directly builds self-awareness, which is so key.
Creating that bit of space. I like that. Can we bring this kind of awareness into everyday things too, like not just sitting meditation?
Absolutely. Take mindful eating. We usually rush through meals, right? Barely tasting them. But try the raisin exercise sometime, or do it with any food. Slowly look at it, feel its texture, smell it, place it in your mouth, notice the taste unfold, chew slowly, swallow consciously.
Paying attention to a raisin.
Sounds simple, but it's profound. It teaches you to slow down and use all your senses. It can completely change your relationship with eating and reduce stress around food. The insight is that any routine activity, brushing your teeth, washing dishes, walking, can become a mindfulness practice if you bring awareness to it.
Okay, so grounding ourselves in the present through breath, thoughts, and even daily tasks. What are the other key tools for our kit?
Fifth, and this ties back nicely to connection, is to give to others and practice self-care in daily activities. Doing kind things for others, even small gestures, like saying thank you sincerely, really listening when someone talks. Offering help creates positive feelings, gives us purpose, boosts self-worth, and deepens connections.
So giving isn't just selfless, it benefits us too.
Absolutely. It's a powerful form of self-care, actually. The insight is that contributing positively to others creates this wonderful feedback loop for our own well-being.
And that second part, self-care and daily activities, that sounds different from like bubble baths and spa days, although those can be nice too.
Exactly. It's about consciously choosing activities throughout your day that nourish you rather than deplete you. Try this. Make a list of your regular daily activities, then categorize them. Mark N for nurturing, things that genuinely recharge you. D for draining, things that deplete your energy. And M for mastery, tasks that might not be fun during, like cleaning the fridge, but feel good after.
N, D, and M. Okay.
Then the goal is to mindfully try to increase the N activities and decrease the D ones where possible. Even small shifts add up. Everyday mindfulness self-care could be taking 5 deep breaths when you wake up, noticing your posture during the day, eating one meal mindfully, truly listening in a conversation.
Integrating those small, nourishing moments.
I see.
What else should be in the toolkit?
Number 6 involves 2 related parts. Develop healthy nutritional habits and incorporate relaxation techniques. We touched on emotional eating, but generally what we eat really impacts stress. Lots of people overeat or eat unhealthy foods when stressed.
Yeah, reaching for the comfort food.
Right. So try to minimize processed foods, lots of sugar, excessive caffeine, focus on whole foods, maybe increase omega-3s, complex carbs, stay hydrated, and regular meals help stabilize blood sugar and mood. And then add specific relaxation techniques.
Like deep breathing.
Yes, things like deep breathing exercises. The 4-7-8 method is a popular one. Or progressive muscle relaxation, where you tense and release different muscle groups. Guided imagery, even aromatherapy with calming scents like lavender. These techniques actively switch on your body's relaxation response, the parasympathetic nervous
The
system.
rest and digest system you mentioned?
Exactly. Studies show regular practice can significantly lower stress hormones like cortisol. The insight here is you can consciously flip the switch from alarm to calm with these simple practices.
Okay, nutrition and relaxation. And the final tool you mentioned, it sounds like a big one.
It is a big one and often challenging. Number 7 is practice setting boundaries. This is so crucial for protecting your energy, both physical and emotional. It prevents burnout and resentment.
Why is saying no or setting limits so hard, but so important for stress?
Because not being able to set limits means you often end up overcommitted, overwhelmed, and feeling taken advantage of, all huge sources of stress. You need to identify your limits, how much time, energy, emotional capacity you have, then communicate them clearly using I statements like, I need some downtime tonight, or I feel overwhelmed when I take on too much.
Using I statements, that feels less confrontational.
It does. Start with smaller boundaries if it feels tough. Be prepared that some people might push back initially, but remember, saying no to things that drain you creates space for a meaningful yes to things that nourish you. The insight is boundaries aren't about shutting people out. They're about protecting your well-being so you can engage meaningfully.
Wow, that's a really comprehensive toolkit. Connection, body care, learning, creativity, mindfulness, giving, self-care, nutrition, relaxation, boundaries. It's a lot.
It is, but you don't need to implement everything overnight.
Right, so we've got these tools for managing stress when it happens. But you mentioned getting ahead of it. What about proactive coping and building resilience? That feels like playing the long game.
Exactly. Proactive coping is moving beyond just reacting. It's about anticipating future stressors or obstacles and preparing for them. It's planning for things that might knock you off course.
Like what kind of things?
Maybe you've successfully lost weight. Proactive coping would involve thinking about situations that might trigger old habits like holidays or stressful periods and planning how you'll handle them before they happen. Or managing a chronic health condition, anticipating flare-ups and having a plan. Research shows people who use proactive coping adapt better to major life changes, like after a stroke, or manage ongoing conditions like diabetes better, leading to greater well-being.
So it's like preventative maintenance for your stress levels and resilience. That feels like the ultimate outcome of all this.
It really is. Building resilience is about adapting well when you face adversity, trauma, or major stress. The key thing to remember is resilience isn't something you're just born with or without. It's not a fixed trait. It involves behaviors, thoughts, and actions that can absolutely be learned and developed over time.
So anyone can become more resilient. What helps build it?
Definitely. Key components include things like maintaining a reasonably positive attitude, being flexible in your thinking, what psychologists call cognitive flexibility, the ability to adapt, having a strong moral compass or sense of purpose, definitely leaning on that social support we talked about.
Connection again.
Always. Having role models, keeping physically fit, and having practical problem-solving skills all contribute.
And I've heard the term growth mindset linked to resilience. What's that about?
Yes, that comes from Carol Dweck's research at Stanford. A growth mindset is the belief that your abilities aren't fixed, but can be developed through dedication and hard work. People with this mindset see challenges not as roadblocks, but as opportunities to learn and grow.
So failure isn't final, it's feedback.
Precisely. They emphasize effort, reframe setbacks, and use the power of yet, like I haven't figured this out yet. The core insight for resilience is it's not about never falling down. It's about learning how to get back up, maybe even stronger each time.
Okay, this is all fantastic information, but it feels like a lot to juggle. How do we actually put this together into a plan that works for us? How do we personalize it?
Great question. It needs to be personalized. First step, assess your current stress. Really tune in. What are your main stressors right now, and what are your symptoms? Physical aches, emotional irritability, behavioral changes like withdrawing, cognitive fuzziness. Get specific.
Know your enemy, basically.
Kind of, yeah. Second, identify your typical stress response pattern. When stress hits, what's your default reaction? Are you a fighter, getting angry or controlling? A flighter, withdrawing, avoiding? A freezer, feeling paralyzed or numb? Or maybe a pleaser, trying to smooth things over by over-accommodating others?
Fighter, flighter, freezer, pleaser. Knowing your pattern helps.
Absolutely, because it helps you choose interventions that counteract your go-to, maybe unhelpful, response. Third step, select complementary strategies from that toolkit we built. Don't try to do everything at once. Choose maybe 3 to 5 strategies that resonate with you and address different aspects, maybe something physical, something mindful, something connection-based.
Start small, make it manageable.
Exactly. Fourth, implement and track. Start with small, achievable steps. Use Habit Stacking Link, a new coping habit, to something you already do, like practicing deep breathing for 2 minutes after you brush your teeth. Keep track of what you're doing and how it makes you feel. Notice what works, what doesn't, and adjust your plan. It's an ongoing experiment.
An experiment, not a pass-fail test like that. And finally, what if someone feels really stuck? If trying these things on their own isn't enough, when should they think about getting professional help?
That's a crucial point. If you're finding it really hard to build these positive skills, or if you feel trapped in unhealthy coping patterns like substance use or severe avoidance, professional guidance can make a world of difference. Please don't hesitate to seek support.
What kind of support is available?
There are many options. Therapists, especially those specializing in cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, are fantastic for stress management. Stress management coaches can offer practical strategies. Your doctor can help rule out or manage physical symptoms. Support groups, either general or for specific issues, can provide invaluable peer connection.
So it's not a sign of weakness to ask for help.
Absolutely not. It's a sign of strength and self-awareness. And research shows that even relatively brief therapy, maybe 8-12 sessions, can lead to significant improvements in stress and related symptoms. Reaching out is a proactive step towards well-being.
Okay, as we wrap up this deep dive, it really feels like the core message is that developing these healthy coping mechanisms isn't about finding one magic bullet. It's an ongoing journey, right?
Totally ongoing.
It's about building this diverse toolkit, trying things out to see what genuinely works for you, and then really committing to practicing those things regularly. because stress,
Yeah,
that's pretty much inevitable in life.
it is.
But how we respond to it, that's where our power lies. That's what we can control. And having that control, that toolkit, that's incredibly empowering. It lets us turn challenges into growth, find calm even when things are stormy, and really truly thrive.
Beautifully put. So maybe the final thought for everyone listening is this. Reflecting on everything we've discussed, what's just one small intentional step you can take today? One new tool you can start adding to your personal coping toolkit? Because that journey, that path to resilience, it always begins with that single step,